winning. Being able to play with Caitlin Clark, I think that was a huge eye-opening. Like, I had the opportunity to play with one of the greatest players that's ever going to play the game of basketball. So for me, once I also heard that, like, oh, she really wants me here too, I was like, oh, well, let's get it done then. There's no questions about it.
At Indiana Fever Media Day, Myisha Hines-Allen dropped a bombshell. She disclosed that Caitlin Clark, I personally recruited her because I wanted her on the squad after Stephanie White heard. The front office put forth a lot of effort to make Clark's drive for Myisha a reality as soon as Myisha heard. It was a done deal. Caitlin truly wanted her there. No inquiries. This is how elite players construct championship teams. And followers of Fever are really going crazy when a player discloses that women's basketball's biggest star directly recruited her and said, I want you here. Because they trusted her, the coaching staff made it happen right away. Does their Superstars assessment of roster construction provide all the information you need to identify who's being in charge of Indianapolis and the reasons astute companies pay attention when generational talents identify the components they require to win titles?
So yeah, that is very clear. She's like, you know what? Look, I got a chance to play with Caitlin Clark. And one of the big things is that, as well, is that she wanted me here too. And everyone's like, oh, I still never understood why everybody got so angry at the Myisha Hines-Allen situation. Like, she wasn't good for the Wings last year, but like, everything is in perspective. If she was a minimum contract player who fought her way into a starting spot for the Dallas Wings, then yeah, I feel like that would have been a legitimately good thing.
Let's discuss the recent events at Indiana Fever Media Day, as Myisha Hines-Allen recently disclosed information that fundamentally alters our perception of the Fever's off-season roster construction. The front office wasn't the only one acting in this way. Stephanie White was not the only one who identified needs. This was Caitlin Clark actively seeking players, with the organization supporting her goals, and Myisha just said it aloud. To be heard by all, this is precisely what Myisha stated throughout the interview. Succeeding, having the opportunity to play with Caitlin, that was really eye-opening in my opinion. Clark, I got to play alongside one of the best players that will ever participate in a basketball game. After hearing it, I realized that she truly wanted me to be here as well. Oh, well, let's finish it then. I thought there are no doubts about it. Read that once more. She truly wants me to be here as well. That is Caitlin Clark's particular desire to have Myisha Hines-Allen on the team. In addition to acknowledging the signing, not merely accepting it, actively seeking it and actively recruiting, and Myisha responded right away. Without any questions, let's finish it. That explains everything about how elite athletes win championships. Teams. They determine the components they require, convey that information to the front office, and astute companies pay attention. Because when you have a generational talent with Caitlin Clark's level of basketball knowledge, you have faith in her ability to decide who she wants to play with.
And by the way, prior to this, she stated that Indiana has been an option in the past for her free agency. So I actually believe that she was the backup option if Natasha Howard fell through last year. If Natasha Howard had fell through and they didn't sign Natasha Howard, I fully believe they she would have went and they would have signed her.
This is when it becomes really intriguing. Indiana had been an option for her, according to Myisha. Free agency previously. This implies that the Fever had already examined her. And my hypothesis, which, in my opinion, makes perfect sense, Myisha was most likely Natasha Howard's backup. Failed last year. She joined the Dallas Wings somewhat late. She had comparable income to what? The timeline aligns. Howard realized that Myisha was already known to the Fever front office, who had already assessed her. She had already been determined to be a good fit for their system. However, this year, Caitlin Clark in particular declared, I want her here, which took it from, yeah, she could work to make this happen right away. That's the distinction between a player is being considered by the front office and a superstar is requesting one.
This is a really good fit for the Fever. And the fact that she's out basically saying, you know what, Caitlin Clark wanted me. Everyone's like, oh, interesting. People are losing their damn minds. I'm like, if she is a backup, you are getting a
Stephanie White was determined to make it happen as soon as she learned that Caitlin was advocating for Myisha. Because effective coaches do just that. They pay attention to their top players. They have faith in their judgment. Additionally, they construct rosters based on what such players require to be successful. White did not oppose it. She didn't doubt it. It was made possible by her. Let's now discuss why Caitlin would specifically desire Myisha. Because those who merely observed. Dallas may have been confused last year. Myisha struggled, her reputation suffered, and she wasn't a good fit for the Wings. Many wondered if she was still a significant player. However, this is what people overlook. Last year, Dallas was a complete mess. The entire circumstance was poisonous, and everything appears worse when you're under a microscope. Caitlin Clark obviously sees beyond it. She recognizes Myisha's potential in the appropriate circumstance, and Myisha's contribution is precisely what the Fever requires: large, powerful, aggressive, and unapologetic. The final section is more important then. People are aware of this. When constructing a winning squad around a player that is physically targeted, such as Caitlin, do you require enforcers? Players that will establish hard screens, guard your star, and convey a message that going for your best player has repercussions.
You're looking at it, and it is this is a really big player, and there's a big reason why Caitlin Clark was pushing, because, by the way, they have a very similar big rotation. She is replacing Bree Turner. Natasha Howard is being replaced. Dantas is still Dantas. Natasha Howard is being replaced by Mo Billings. That's a like for like. Worst case scenario, it's even. And not only that, you've got...
That player is Myisha. She's large. She is physically strong. She has an advantage when playing. Additionally, she has no fear of anyone. That is worthwhile when attempting to win titles in a league where physicality is important. However, it goes beyond simply being harsh. When employed properly, Myisha is also a proficient player. She sets the screen well. She passes connectives fairly well. She is capable of making the extra pass and swinging the ball. You don't want her to dribble up the court. Dallas demonstrated that it is ineffective. However, in a system where she's capturing and making snap judgments, she might be quite successful, and that's exactly how the Fever want to play. In half-court sets and transitions, Caitlin Clark will have the ball. She needs players who can use the ball to screen, roll, pop, and make snap decisions. Myisha is capable of doing all of that. She is able to set a screen for Caitlin, jump out, grab the swing pass, and strike Aaliyah Boston on a cut right away, or locate Kelsey Mitchell for a 3. That's connected basketball. That's winning a game of basketball. The additional item that people are lacking is this case's value proposition. Myisha signed for almost the bare minimum. She's earning far less than she did in Dallas. And based on what other players in her position are earning, her market worth is most likely $600,000. Thus, a player who ought to be earning much more is being offered a discount by the Fever. That's how depth is created. By doing this, you can build a roster that is superior to the sum of its parts. Because let's be honest about what Myisha is taking over. She is replacing Bree Turner on the roster. She is also far superior to Bree Turner. At the large backup role, that is an improvement. Monique Billings will take Natasha Howard's seat, which at most is essentially a lateral shift. Thus, the Fever improved one key backup position and remained stable. At the other, that's excellent roster management. This is where things start to become pretty interesting. In fact, Myisha could compete. Monique Billings will start with Aaliyah Boston. It's not insane when Myisha is at her finest. Is a player of true starting caliber. She began her journey to Dallas. She began her career on other teams. If she enters and demonstrates that there's no reason she couldn't get that position if she performed better than Billings in preseason camp. That provides choices for the Fever. They have competition as a result. This provides them with insurance in the event of an injury or hardship. That's depth. Championship teams have that. They don't have a single talented player at every position. They have several players who can intervene when necessary. Let's now discuss the Caitlin Clark perspective once more. as this is actually what the subject of the story. Caitlin is about to start her third season as a professional. She has become the league's spokesperson. She is the most attractive player in women's basketball, and she is now beginning to use her power to expand the squad. She desires. Superstars do just that. LeBron James attracted players to Miami, LA, and Cleveland. Golden State was recruited by Kevin Durant. The Warriors' roster decisions are influenced by Steph Curry. In professional sports, this is typical. The top players have a say in how the roster is assembled. And astute businesses pay attention to them because those players are aware of what is necessary for their success. They are aware of which teammates will. They have knowledge on the front. They know which characters will fit in the locker room, and they complement their game. Office is lacking. Caitlin made it obvious that she wanted to play with Myisha, someone she believed would make the group more effectively, someone she trusted despite the fact that others had cast her off following a difficult year in Dallas. That demonstrates basketball IQ. That demonstrates leadership. That demonstrates vision that goes beyond specific numbers and highlights. Myisha's explicit statement that once I heard she really wants me here too implies that there was direct communication. Perhaps not among the players themselves. That might be manipulation. However, most likely via back channels, through intermediaries and reciprocal relationships. The communication that Caitlin Clark particularly requested reached Myisha. She had a fever, and that was what made the difference. Consider the implications for a player such as Myisha. She just finished a challenging year. IT damaged her reputation. She is signing for a lower salary than she has previously earned. She requires a new beginning. Then she learns that the biggest star in women's basketball, Caitlin Clark, wants her to be a member of the squad. That's a huge boost to confidence. That's confirmation. That's evidence that someone who truly understands that basketball still has faith in you, and a player's performance can be altered by that kind of belief. When you know your superstar teammate is counting on you, when you know she values your game, and when you know she wanted you there, on you to participate, which alters your perspective, you play with greater assurance and purpose. You play to show that her desire for you is justified. This is the intangible advantage of elite athletes attracting teammates. It goes beyond simply acquiring talented athletes. Getting guys who are driven to show the star is crucial. Correct. Players who are committed from the start. Before they even take a stride, players who already have synergy and trust. Together on the court, in her remarks on Media Day, Myisha also mentioned how impressed she was with Aaliyah Boston. Last year, she participated in Aaliyah's play. She expressed a desire to support Aaliyah's further development. That's the mentality of a veteran. You desire. She isn't thinking, I need to take minutes from Aaliyah. As she enters, she is thinking, how can I contribute myself and improve Aaliyah at the same time? That way of thinking is ideal for what the Fever are developing. They are not a group of standout players vying for touchdowns. They are a group of players who are aware of their responsibilities and desire to improve one another. Everyone around Caitlin is elevated by her. Inside, Aaliyah handles the grunt job. Kelsey has a powerful scoring punch, and now Myisha enters the picture to provide toughness, physicality, and a seasoned presence. The statement that it is difficult is also instructive. Myisha is aware that this will be difficult. She is aware that there will be pressure. She is aware that people would be observing. She is aware that she must perform. However, she is prepared for it. She is accepting it. She is thrilled about it. You want a veteran signing to have that mindset. Contrast this with how some other teams are in charge of roster construction and free agency. All they do is sign names. They pursue statistics. They don't consider fit or chemistry or what their top players genuinely require. In contrast, the Fever are paying attention to Caitlin. They're constructing around her vision, Clark. She wants to play with the players they are acquiring, and it's unlikely that this will be the last time. As Caitlin's impact increases, she demonstrates her ability to succeed, and she establishes herself even further. She will have more influence over roster choices. The Fever will pay attention, because they are intelligent enough to recognize that the best way to develop your generational talent is to provide her all the resources she needs to achieve. A dynasty, fans' responses have been conflicting, which is to be expected. The Myisha signature is adored by some. They recognize the worth. They recognize the fit. They have faith in Caitlyn's judgment. Some people have doubts too. Of Dallas. They're concerned about her difficulties from the previous year. They wonder if she still has it. Here's the problem, though. Caitlin Clark is more knowledgeable about basketball than any of those doubtful supporters. She has spent her whole life studying the game. She has performed at the greatest levels. She is aware of what she needs to be successful. If she desired for Myisha to be a member of this team, there's a rationale. And until the contrary is demonstrated, we should probably believe that rationale. Caitlyn was disclosed by Myisha Hines-Allen. She was directly recruited by Clark, and they moved quickly to get Myisha on the squad after Stephanie White learned that Clark wanted her. This is how elite athletes assemble championship teams, and astute companies pay attention to their generational skills. Caitlyn is getting the pieces she needs to win from the Fever. Click like and subscribe for insider access to more truthful WNBA content. Examination of the construction of championship teams.